All right, y'all, I got a fresh blowout here in Los Angeles with Mary Grace, my amazing hairstylist who I absolutely love. And it's Wednesday, and that means it's TLC Talk. Welcome to the Sarah Fraser Show. Fun fact about me, because we have many new listeners here, I dabble in stand-up comedy. I do, yes. I used to be heavier, and I have a joke about how I really kind of miss being large because you never have to worry about, being sexually assaulted at a bar when you walk in. Who's going to carry you out of there? I mean, nobody goes up to a bar. You never see a guy go up and have an order, I'll have a martini and a wheelbarrow for the lady. I mean, nobody ever does that. So I used to be a stand-up comedian. I still do. If you're like, you better have a better joke than that, bitch. And so fun fact about me, I do some stand-up. I do have a 5-minute set. I occasionally do, but I have not pursued. I used to have a fantasy that I was going to be a stand-up comic and be a guest host one time on SNL, but I've realized that it's not going to happen because I can't stay up. I go to bed at 9:05, literally. The only time I can do stand-up comedy is if it's a drag brunch show on Sundays. I don't get enough hours. I don't get enough stand-up comedy stage time. So needless to say, I'm not a stand-up comic. Instead, I'm a podcaster and longtime radio host. We've got tea to get to. We've got cheating rumors about a 90-day fiance couple that just got married in August. We have a 90-day fiance couple that tied the knot in June and are officially married, even though a lot of people feel they're toxic. And TLC has great news for us. They have released the winter lineup for Sister Wives, and we now have a confirmation about if Christine Brown is getting a special around her wedding. Okay, so there's all that to get to. Let's start with Sister Wives because I know it is everybody's favorite. Host, Suki. Suki, who is the host of Sister Wives One-on-Ones. And FYI, we are getting 4 parts to the one-on-one. Is TLC not savage? Those bitches have tuned into End It Gone and watch what happens and the housewife reunions, and they're like, oh, you guys do 3? You guys, let us one-up you watching paint dry on a wall with Cody Brown, who's a complete narcissist who will not hold himself accountable for anything. We're going 4 parts. How many parts do you think they're going to push eventually? I think we're going to see 6 parts at times. I think a 6-part one-on-one event. I believe, mark my words, I'm making a prediction. In 2025, I believe we'll have almost 1 solid year of Sister Wives content. The show is that huge for them. I'm just saying, mark my words. But the host, Suki, who's gotten a ton of backlash for what people feel like are her soft questions and not going in on the hard questions, not giving context to things. I defend Suki all the time. I think she's a great person, and we don't know the full story. Is production saying to her, you can't ask that? Or Cody and Robin going, nope, can't do that? I don't know. But I do agree that these one-on-ones are poorly done. The whole show is for a #1 rated show. In the sense, we deserve more. But I do have a caveat. We are going to get more. So TLC has heard our call, and they are going to do it. But Suki is responding to the haters. Good for Suki. She gets points in my book. She went on her Instagram this week to people going, oh, you're going to be so soft on Cody. People criticizing her interview style, say that she never presses people. She never rolls the tape. She actually wrote back to people and said this week, respectfully, I think that you are going to hear more than ever from the entire Sister Wives cast. I try to be fair, says Suki. Just watch it, and then we can discuss. She says that it gets better as the one-on-one gets deeper in. Okay, then Suki, I'm giving you a chance. And I gotta say, I give her credit for coming for the haters. So Suki has responded to the drama, and she hears it. Now, this is my favorite part. TLC has released the winter-fall lineup. Are y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? For what they are going to do, all the different episodes and shows that we're going to be seeing of Sister Wives. So if you were panicking like I was, that what are we going to watch? Because this is the greatest show on television to hate watch ever in the history of television. We're getting a lot more of it. 4 parts to the one-on-one. So of course, the next one airs this Sunday, December 3rd, then the 10th and the 17th. Then we're getting a 2-part look back. On December 24th, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, we're getting the Sister Wives look back. All but one of Cody's polygamous marriages have completely fallen apart. Now it's time to look back at how the Browns got to this point and have them reflect on those early days. Then, Talk Back, for the very first time, Sister Wives is premiering a 2-part Talk Back series on Friday, December 22nd and Friday, December 29th. The sisters watch the revealing first episode of this season and tell us what was really going on behind the scenes. For the very first time ever, they will also respond to some tough viewer questions about social media posts. This is where the viewers get to have their say and the Browns, quote, talk back. Wow. The second part of it, which airs the 29th, as I mentioned, the Sister Wives react to the explosive season finale, where Mary and Cody decide to end their marriage. They will also hear what the viewers thought of it all via viewer questions and social media posts. This is their chance to talk back and tell it like it is. Okay, so you know what? Finally, we're going to be able to get our questions answered, like the ones we really want. Then the wedding special. For the very first time in history, one of the Sister Wives is now getting married to someone aside from Cody. Part 1 airs January 7th. The second part ends January 14th. Airs January 14th. After years of struggling in her plural marriage, Christine Brown has met the love of her life. Go behind the scenes and see every detail as David and Christine tied the knot in Moab, Utah. Wow. Okay. So, y'all, we are getting Sister Wives action through January 14th, and then I wouldn't be surprised if even more is to come. Christine Brown took to social media this week. Woolley. Says that, she's super excited about the wedding special. We're going to get to see it all. We're going to get to see so much behind the scenes. The other big news from Sister Wives is 2 things about Christine. One, I'm going to make another prediction. Christine Brown, 2024, will be on Dancing with the Stars. An interview that she recently, she's been doing, she and Janelle have been on a press tour. Yes, I'm trying to get them on the show. I'd sit down with any of them. Cody, Robin. I would love to sit down with Cody. Yes, Cody, yes. But Christine gave an interview and she says that she and David are now watching Dancing with the Stars for the very first time. She never watched the show prior. She says she loves it. She's so addicted to it. She's so into this season with Ariana Madix. She doesn't name Ariana Madix, but she says this season, and she said she would love to be on it. Mark my words. Christine Brown from Sister Wives will be going to Dancing with the Stars. You wait. Christine's life is about to pop off. She's going to really take over. That Plexius tea, the new marriage, the weight loss, the cooking show. I got to watch the cooking show that she has on YouTube. And then lastly, another kind of tidbit that's making the headlines is Christine actually says that seeing her kids have beautiful marriages. Maddie Brown's wedding to Caleb was the tipping point of when she knew she was going to leave Cody and what a soulmate really looked like. So she says, she spoke to today.com. When Cody and I first married, I loved him. I thought he loved me. We were just fine. I didn't think there was anything wrong with the relationship that we had, she said. I figured sometimes there's good and bad days, and then there would be good and bad weeks, and then months, and then good and bad years. I've been married to my schmano for, oh my God, is it 3 years? Is it 4 years? I think we just had our 4th year wedding anniversary. No, we just had our 3. It'll be 4 this coming in 2024. And no, you should never have bad months. We have like a bad night, a bad afternoon where I'm mad at him. And then we get over it. But she says, the whole family experiencing, seeing my children get married and realizing how they fell in love absolutely changed me. She realized that for the first time in her life, a soulmate was real. I mean, look, to me, what we're realizing on Sister Wives is a group of people, and I know Cody and Robin get a bunch of shit for this because they knew it like long before anyone else, but you're seeing adults realize that they were not in love, and you're seeing Christine Woolley for the very first time, like what it is like to have a soulmate, what it is like to have somebody you don't want to be away from. And that's a beautiful thing, baby. A beautiful thing. All right. Let's move on to all the dirt that is going down in the 90-day fiance space. First of all, Gino and Jasmine are officially married. That's right. You heard it. A lot of fans are in an uproar about this because no one has been more toxic on TV since, I don't know. Who's the most toxic couple? Somebody from Jersey Shore, Flavor of Love? I don't know. But Flavor Flav. Jasmine and Gino tied the knot in June of this past year in Wayne County, Michigan. Shout out to Michigan, where all my in-laws live. The clerk confirmed to news outlets that Gino and Jasmine, their storyline ends happily on this season of 90 Day Fiancé. Despite fans watching their toxic back and forth, the two are totally married after meeting on a sugar baby dating site. Are her sons officially moving to, or her children officially moving to Michigan? That's the part that broke my heart. I don't know how she left those boys behind in Panama to come to Michigan with Mr. Gino. And if you're keeping up on this 90 Day Fiancé season, season 10, very big season for the franchise because it's a decade-long show, or decade in, or whatever, 10 in their series. I don't think it's quite been on a decade. But they are, they've gone back and forth. She found lip gloss in his car that a lot of people felt like she planted. Gino had a bachelorette party apparently before she got there. It's just a mess. So, but I've always said this about this couple, and that's why I've sort of lost interest a little bit in season 10. I do feel like we've hit the tipping point where we have people like Nikki on. I feel like you definitely have people on like The Bachelor and Bachelorette that just want to be famous, just want to promote themselves and their brands like Miona and Jibri did. And I think Gino and Jasmine are lifers on TLC to some degree. And I think if you look at Jasmine's Instagram, she's brilliant at doing this vulnerability thing and, talking about her plastic surgeries. And I think it's all setting up for probably courses and, obviously their cameos are for sale and a lot more. And to continue, they'll go from 90 Day to Last Resort and so on and so on. But I actually do think Gino and Jasmine are in love. I do. I actually think they're in love, and I think that they're playing the reality game very well, is my 2 cents. A relationship that looks like it has hit the skids is our friend Big Ed and Liz, who have been on this podcast, who I enjoyed thoroughly. But somebody actually found Ed's Bumble dating profile, which seems to be reactivated sometime this fall. So Ed apparently is back dating, and then Liz, I looked at this and I didn't think that this was she was on a date, but Liz was out to dinner with a man. She did not show his face, but she showed his hands and his wrist. They were having drinks in San Diego, and a lot of people felt like this was a date. How y'all know that? I don't know. I mean, that seems like such a stretch to me. She could be out to it with anybody. And y'all, anyone. But she was out with him, and people say around San Diego they have seen her out with other men at night that are not Big Ed. And Ed is apparently back on Bumble, and he's fumbling around on the bumbling around and looking for love. Does he mention on his profile that he's into reality TV? I did not see that, but I like the guy that put up his profile on Twitter. So I haven't heard, people are saying that he cheated. People are saying that they're separated. They did Last Resort, and then they also got married in August of this year. Y'all. So I don't know. If anybody knows any more, if you go out on a date with Big Ed, would you please hit me up? I would love to know how it went. I want to know all of the details. But so far, Ed and Liz have yet to put out a statement that they are in fact separated or no longer dating. Let's move on to 1,000-Pound Sisters. I can't wait. The 1,000-Pound Sisters season 5 drops December 12th. It's going to be a good one. A huge one. Why is it going to be so good, Sarah? Well, first of all, Tammy Slayton, after hitting almost 800 pounds, has lost 400. So she's 3-something. She looks terrific. She's come off her trach. She's come out of her walker. She got married this past year. Sadly, she tied the knot officially in January. Her husband, Caleb, passed away in like June of this year after they were separated, had a rocky go. She was cited for marijuana possession. She was arrested out there in Kentucky in the KY. And Amy Holterman had a fiery divorce, had a restraining order with Michael Holterman. They're separated. He no longer lives there. Then the 1,000-pound sisters and their other relatives got into such a monster fight on the beaches of Florida while they were filming, they had to halt filming for 2 weeks. The crew was traumatized, and so was everyone around them. What? What in the what? I mean, the trashiness. I mean, these are my kind of people. Wow. It's going to be a crazy season. But this week, Amy Holterman, one of the 1,000-pound sisters, went public with her new man. She's a new boyfriend after separating from Michael Holterman, and she says that she and the new guy have been dating for 8 months. His name is Tony Rogers. I'm not going to say this because I think I do have info about Tony Rogers, but I don't want to say it till I confirm it because I don't want to put out anything that's not true. The relationship comes 8 months after she split with her husband of 6 years, Michael. She put up pictures of herself with him. He's actually been seen in a YouTube video prior this summer, so people already had an idea that they were dating, and people are very supportive. Good for you, Amy. You deserve to be happy, one person wrote. While another follower commented, Amy, you look so happy. Love this for you. So I'm assuming we're going to be seeing him too. Her dating, and we're going to be seeing Tony on the show. Oh. December 12th, you're going to get that. Also, I wouldn't know this, but thanks to you guys, I get the updates. Apparently, I'm blocked still by Tammy Slayton on TikTok. Tammy, I know you're listening. Girl, I love you. I don't know what, like one time I said, and I apologized. You had a filter on, and I said it made you look like you'd lost more weight than what, was being reported. I apologize. Tammy is still not unblocked me on Twitter. Tammy, come on, girl. Well, Tammy Slayton did a TikTok video that she keeps her late husband, Caleb Willingham, close to her by wearing ashes in her jewelry of his. My necklace is actually Caleb's ashes, Tammy explained to her fans while showing off a music note-shaped jewelry piece in a video posted on TikTok this week. Me and my husband actually really enjoyed music of all kinds, so a music note I thought would be fitting. She added that the ring she was wearing in the video is his fingerprint that's made out of ashes, and inside it says Caleb. She says the ring is textured and it's really cool, and I can feel his fingerprint every day. Tammy also went on to say, for those of you that have a necklace or a ring made out of ashes and you wear it, do you get separation anxiety? Like, do you panic or freak out a little bit because they're not on you? She says, I do that now all the time. I want him to be with me. And, apparently we're going to hear more about their relationship. She said that I was devastated by losing my husband passing on July 1. So he passed the end of June, and she made an official statement in July, and they were not together at the time. She says that we're having issues and working through things, but she loved him very much and keeps him with her all the time in the jewelry. I got one of those. When my uncle passed away, my other gunkle gave me a piece of jewelry, like a silver thing, and it has his ashes in it. I think I wore it once. My gunkle wasn't really like ash guy or like a God guy. I don't know. So I feel kind of weird like wearing it like, oh, you know what I mean? And then people go, oh, what a beautiful necklace. Thanks. It's my Uncle Tony, I mean, I don't know. It's probably his foot in here. Don't get too close, what? No, whatever it takes though. I know people keep their ashes of their loved ones. Keep them close. Hey, life is short. We love our loved ones. We want to keep them with them. And God forbid, Caleb was 40 when he passed. Way too young to go. Oh, but this was the interesting tidbit. Tammy says she's not going to reveal how he passed away. It's private, and she doesn't want to get into the details of it. So I don't know that we'll have a conclusion as to why he passed. A lot of people feel like it was weight related. He was relapsing in his food addiction. So that's been the speculation, but it doesn't sound like we're going to address all the details, at least in this season. All right. Couple of big things. First of all, I need to shout out In Touch that that did an article on my interview with Chantel Everett from the family Chantel. Huge shout out to them. Thank you so much. I'm in touch weekly. Go and read it. The family Chantel star Chantel Everett says she has definitive proof that ex-husband Pedro cheated on her. All done on the Sarah Fraser Show. Somebody actually sent evidence to my lawyer that I'm not allowed to have for legal reasons, Chantel, 32 years old, explained on the Sarah Fraser Show on Monday, November 27th. So he absolutely cheated. If you want to hear my full interview with Chantel, it's up from Monday. It's a good one if you love the family Chantel. She is amazing, gorgeous, probably going to end up with a hot rapper. I'm jealous. I want to marry Jack Harlow. Anyway, I'm kidding. I love my schman. My schmandalorian is it for me. The other big thing, you want me to tell, I'm telling you this early. I wasn't going to reveal it, but you know what? Screw it. I love you guys, and I know how much you love TLC shows. On next week, I have a 2-part interview. It's that juicy. We talked for that long. I have officially, to the Sarah Fraser Show, Olivia Plath's sister. Oh, boy. Ooh. Get a cup, get your favorite mug. Get your favorite tea. Mine is dandelion tea because, I'm going to do an egg donor, but I want to carry that baby. And dandelion tea is very good for fertility. Very good for clearing the liver, making way for healthy cells, and carrying a healthy fetus. Get your favorite cup of tea, pour it, and get ready because Lydia Plath reveals all. What Kim and Barry are really like, more about them behind the scenes, about the reality show or her reconciliation with her sister. Does she regret saying that her sister is a lot like Kim Plath? She goes there about her own family. Did she ever want to date Micah Plath? What were the political disagreements that Olivia and Ethan had? Is this a Trump versus Biden? What's going on? It's a good one. It's going to air in 2 parts. First part airs Monday, December 4th. The second part airs December 6th. On the Wednesday when I do TLC shows, it is that big. So part 1, be sure to be subscribing to TSFS. It's really juicy. Okay, love you all. Thank you so much for listening and making this a top podcast. Every Wednesday now, I tack on to this brand new show. I rerun my recap of Sister Wives season 18, part 1 of the one-on-one. I've been doing this all season long. So if you missed my recap of all my thoughts and the questions that should have been asked, here it is. Bye, everybody. Part 1 of the one-on-one for Sister Wives, season 18 aired last night. And I'm going to give you the 4 most shocking moments going from 4 to 1. But first, I need to apologize to all of you. We may need a new host. I know, I'm a shady beach. But, I mean, okay, first of all, here's my initial, collective thoughts, and then we'll get into actually what was the most shocking and relevant moments of the one-on-one. Number 1, how many Rolex watches does Cody own? Okay, does the Codemeister own? Last night, gorgeous. Looked like a beautiful Rolex watch, blue band. Unbelievable. I believe throughout the season, especially the first time we saw that Cody and Robin wore matching horse rings, maybe it was like episode 9. He also had on a gorgeous Rolex watch, silver and gold. This man, okay. I don't know if it's the cameos, the 18th season, the gun shows, whatever it is, this man is doing okay. So there was that. The other thing was, at first, I thought to myself, do they not have a hair and makeup crew? We see the opening scene of the one-on-one is all of them arriving to the one-on-one, okay? But they're blow drying their hair. Robin is doing her mascara. At first, I was like, oh, snap. They're not even getting glam. This is such a departure from the Housewives. But they did get there, and they did get glammed up to some degree. It's not that type of franchise. The TLC shows are much more of the production companies are a fly on the wall to people's lives. They don't make up, it's not like hair, makeup. I mean, if the participants of 90 Day Fiance or 1,000 Pound Sisters want to get plastic surgery or lose weight, that's like on them, but that's not really the MO here, for TLC. So we see all the women, and even like, why didn't Cody and Robin ride to the one-on-one together? We see him in his new Lexus sports car, the 2-door drop top. He's rolling in, talking about what he's thinking about, if he's nervous, which he says he doesn't get nervous until he gets there to the studio. Anyway, those were some of my initial thoughts, but they did have glam. Suki was the returning host. And it's not that Suki is a bad host necessarily. It's just that there's not even a like, what I enjoy about the housewives is when they come to the reunions, there's a bit of a dropping of the fourth wall, meaning the fourth wall is representing the camera's production, like behind the scenes. There's a bit of like, how was your year? What's been going on? If there's something in the headlines, like Christine being married, we know this one-on-one was taped before Christine even got married because she refers to him as her fiance in the one-on-one. Not only that, but Janelle's lost a tremendous amount of weight since this one-on-one was filmed. So they wrapped filming maybe a year ago. Maybe this was filmed like a year ago, 8 months ago. A general frustration. So I wish there was some connection back to real time, which, is not Suki's fault, but the questions are softball. They are, again, I've said this before because I've been a host and I've done, been on, I contribute for Lifetime's Married at First Sight, some of their shows, their like after party show. I've been a guest, and they have their kickoff show. So lots of times there's things that like you can't ask by production or even the talent. So I can never like blame Suki, but there does seem to be a lack of like connection maybe between Suki and the sister wives. Like, I don't know if she doesn't speak to them much throughout the year. There just doesn't seem to be like a bond there to ask like a deeper kind of off the beaten path question that we all want to know. Okay. For example, Robin, it never looks like you are really shedding a tear. So sobbing, are you sobbing? Or are you not sobbing? Okay. Why? What do you say to the fact that America calls you sobbing Robin? Okay. Cody, let's talk about all the things. Let's make you accountable. Let's go through a list. Let's roll the tape of all the times you did not participate when the women needed help with the kids at their homes, whatever. The other thing I feel about these one-on-ones is I don't know what the excuse is at this point to not have them in the room. I don't. Now, I know they all can't stand each other. In real time, I talked about the big interview that Janelle and Christine did with Entertainment Tonight last week. I did a whole breakdown and debrief, why some people saw red flags in that. If you want to hear that, just go back. It aired last Wednesday. Let me get you the exact date, right before the 22nd, November 22nd, right before the Thanksgiving holiday. So I broke that down. Some people had red flags in that because it was done in real time, and it talks about more about David and Cody's relationship and Christine, and how Christine and David met, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, if you want to hear that, go back and hear it. But, we don't get any back questions. We don't get the questions that we really want to know about. All right. Christine, I want someone to ask Christine point blank, do you think if you were removed from Janelle's life, Janelle would still be with Cody? Because there's a part of me that believes that. Christine, and I thought that was one of the surprising moments on the one-on-one last night, was Christine is happy to see him jealous, Cody jealous. I think Christine still has a little bit of a thing for Cody. I do. Sorry. But I think there is a part of Christine that loves having Janelle. Janelle is like a bit of a pawn. They have like 18 kids. I think that's regardless. It's like Christine is the pawn. She's a chess piece. But ask Christine point blank. Do you think if you backed off that Janelle would have a relationship with Cody? Because she sure seems like she wants to. She really still has her hooks in there. Mary, are you a lesbian? I need to know. Rolls up to that one-on-one. She gets in her big 4x4. I mean, Quinn is giving me Lady Pond energy too. Would you be down with getting down with a gal? It's 2023, honey. We ain't holding anything back. So I do want to see those questions. I agree with everyone. And I do agree. There's no reason that these guys cannot all be in the same room. I know they're all not speaking. Janelle and Christine do not speak to Mary, Robin, Cody. They have nothing to do with them. They don't want anything to do with them. But you are contractually a part of this show. Wouldn't it be helpful to have them all in the room, at least for one scene? Wouldn't that be explosive? Isn't that what we want to see? Y'all have been married for 30 years. You can't do it for 2 hours? We're getting multiple parts of the one-on-one. Last night was part 1. We're going to have a part 2 and part 3. This is going to take us almost to Christmas, and then we will close out season 18. If you are concerned that you're not going to get a season 19 of Sister Wives, oh, do not worry, my friends. It's already filmed. It's being filmed. We're getting a 19. We're going to get 20. We're going to get 21. And are we getting a Janelle Christine spinoff? They say they'd love it, but so far nothing has been confirmed. So we will see. Robin's contradictions go on and on. Last night, Robin was asked by Suki if she would get together with all the women. She said yes, she would feel safe getting together with them. Then people were like, well, wait a minute, Suki, why didn't you roll the footage from when Mary wanted to have a Christmas get together with everybody? Robin said she wouldn't feel safe. Or the text message with all the kids that fell and broke apart because Robin felt they were picking on her or they weren't, including Robin. Like, let's get to more of that. One of the big internet questions people had is, do we feel that Cody and Robin rehearsed for this one-on-one? I think they rehearsed for the whole thing to some degree. I mean, Cody is like a Shakespearean actor to me. I mean, like, not like in a great Shakespearean play, but, like in one. I think some of it is rehearsed. I think they definitely kind of know ahead of time. A lot of people are saying, Cody revealing that he never loved Mary, Janelle, or Christine after meeting Robin. People are saying, of course he would say that because he's going to protect his own ego. That being an egomaniac like he is, he would never just admit to his own faults in the marriages, and that things could have carried on. So anyhow, that was like my overall collective thoughts of the one-on-one last night. The one-on-one did not feature David yet. It didn't get into Mary's sort of threat that she will not be quiet anymore. So nobody knows that's fully alluding to, but we'll get there. It really addressed the demise of his marriages, his true love for Robin, and really kind of, I think, almost like where Janelle stands with him, and is there a possibility of reconciling? So here are the my most shocking moments of last night, part 1 of the one-on-one. Number 4, Cody wanted Janelle to come back early from a vacation to basically go to CVS and get him medication for his COVID. So Janelle and Christine were on a vacation together. The Codemeister in the past year and a half contracts COVID, was very ill, calls Janelle, wants Janelle to come back to basically gather him some items and drop him off at the house. That was Christine's story. Cody's story is he wanted her to come back. She wouldn't. He felt betrayed. He was hurt. She has no empathy for him. Janelle's side of the story was he said, he called her. He was very ill. She was concerned. She contemplated for quite a while about coming back. But then he said, sweetie, don't come back. You can't come see me. There's nothing you can do. Essentially stay on the vacation. Whew. Now, if this ain't proof of telephone, the telephone game where you tell one person in the circle and by the time it gets to the end, it's a whole thing of misinformation. Yeah. Okay. I mean, can anyone decipher what in the what is going on there? All I can decipher is I think there was part of Cody who did want Janelle to come back and run to CVS for him. But I found that moment shocking for 2 reasons. One, I think Cody would definitely ask her to do that. 2, Christine's the one that said she stepped in and said to Janelle, are you bananas? You can't even see him. He has COVID. Why would you go back, stay here on your vacation and enjoy yourself? I do believe that 2 things can be true about Christine. I think Christine is far and away the most happy individual from the Sister Wives group. I think she's the most well-adapted, well-adjusted with her children, with the whole situation. I think she's above and beyond it in so many ways. But I do think, like all of us, there's a part of her that enjoys getting back at Cody. I think that still has a little resentment and anger towards Cody that he wasn't in love with her the way that he was in love with Robin, which she said last night. And, I think she enjoys making Cody jealous with her relationship with Janelle. And I do think that Janelle may, in fact, still be with Cody if Christine wasn't in the mix. Number 3, Christine's revelation of the moment that she knew that Cody was absolutely madly in love with Robin and the sweet revenge she now feels by essentially making Cody jealous of her relationship with Janelle. A lot to unpack in number 3. So one of the interesting moments, now I know Christine has said this before on camera on the Sister Wives seasons, so it wasn't so shocking. It wasn't like the biggest revelation of last night. But Christine did say she knew the moment that Cody was madly in love with Robin was when they were first early dating and he was staying with Christine and he was getting ready to go see Robin. I mean, really, when you think about these things, aren't they so fucked up? It's yeah, the human condition, human nature, we are jealous. Monogamy never works. And I'll tell you, I've interviewed open marriage people over the years on this relationship, on this podcast, and it never fucking works. They all fool themselves. And it works for a while. Then you reach out to them 3 years later and you're like, hey, what's going on? Oh, we broke up, or, oh, we're monogamous. Humans are meant to be monogamous. Sorry. So anyway, Christine says Cody was at the foot of her bed. He was fussing over what to wear and he was so nervous. And she said, wow, you're really kind of looking forward to this date or whatever. And he was like, yeah. And she's like, you're in love with her, aren't you? And he's like, yeah, I am. And that was the moment for Christine that it was all over. She knew that he was madly in love with Robin. It changed everything. I think that was 15 years ago. I'm not sure why it took her so long to stay, but that's all of us, right? We all look back in hindsight and go, oh, we should have left that relationship years ago. But I also think that combined with that moment, Suki kind of asks her so you're saying Cody is jealous of your relationship with Janelle. And she says, yeah, isn't it great that he's getting a taste of his own medicine? These aren't direct quotes. Okay. It was last night. I went to bed. I forgot exact quotes. Okay. Gives you an idea. So she's like, yeah, I enjoy the fact, isn't it great that he gets a taste of his own medicine? Now he knows what it's like. We, for years, were jealous, upset, betrayed, felt hurt because of how much he loved Robin and all the grace that Robin was given and we weren't. And now he gets to experience it with Janelle. She likes it. Christine loves to just twist the knife just a little bit. I'm not judging. I'm just saying. That's the whole scenario. Number 2, most shocking moment of the one-on-one part 1 last night was Cody saying that Janelle uses him like a piece of meat. We must never get rid of this man. Never. He's such great television. Literally, as the one-on-one was winding down, he goes, you know what? I want to clarify something, Suki, about this season that was really not fully fleshed out. And she goes, okay, what is it? And he goes, Janelle used me like a piece of me. I feel used. I am, it is true about my pecs, my 6-pack ad. There was sexual attraction there. And she just wanted the goods. Suki's that's the problem with Suki. She doesn't have any real reaction. It's girl, what? You're sitting across from this man. Now, he did look better last night, I thought, with the tan. I thought he kind of looked attractive last night. So, but I mean, he really believes that Janelle all these years has used him as just, a sex toy. And it's dude, come on. You don't have multiple kids with someone just well, actually you do, but I don't think Janelle doesn't give me the vibe of using him as a piece of meat. That was comedic it was just such a comedic moment. And the number 1 most shocking moment of the one-on-one last night, which I thought was, again, 2 things can be true. I thought was deeply telling of how in love they are, but also very sad for the other women, is Cody confessing that he wept for months on and off after meeting Robin. He was so in love. And also his big revelation last night that he was never in love with any of the women ever, that he married them. His version, he tried to make it work. Some of their love, like with Janelle, grew over time. But he basically looped, Janelle in there with it not, him never being in love. Now, here's the thing, like people went bananas with that, like how fucking insulting for all his kids watching, how insulting to the women. This is about his ego. He would never admit that just, although I guess to me, he really did admit, right? I mean, he didn't, his fault is not owning the fact that like a year or two after meeting Robin and knowing how in love he was, that he didn't just tell the other women, like he didn't just let the other women go, right? It was like a decade plus later. But I mean, to Christine's point, and Christine has said this in the recent interview that I talked about last week, Christine has said, I understand him now much better because I feel like with David, I never want to be away from David. I want to be with my husband all the time. And that's what love, when you find out you're madly in love with someone, you want to be with them all the time. So Christine had a better understanding of it. And to Cody's argument, I think Cody, if you've never been in love with someone and then you are in love with somebody all of a sudden, you then realize like you get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure for him until like before Robin, he probably thought he was in love to some degree with these women. But then after Robin, AR, he was like, oh, hell no. Robin, it's like a whole nother level. I think that's what he was trying to say. And that is something that I feel like I can appreciate, the weeping for joy. I mean, I guess I can see him sobbing together. So I can also see that. But him saying that he was never in love with the women, is that honest or is it cruel? I kind of think there's a level of honesty with that. I agree. The frustrating part about Cody, which also makes him very funny and interesting to watch on TV, is he does never admit fault. The only time I have really heard him be vulnerable and admit fault, which again, I think is, we go back to like, do we need a new host or is the hosting bad? I do think that is like a place where press him on, dude, what is your fault? Like tell us, take accountability. What is your accountability in this? The Mormon interview he did with the Mormon podcast, which is on YouTube. You just Google Cody Brown Mormon, because I don't remember the title of the Mormon YouTube show. He actually talks about now he doesn't believe in polygamy, how awful the show was to his marriage, all these things. But, I didn't find that as like people thought that moment where he admitted that he wasn't ever in love with them. I didn't find it all that shocking because these women have known that for a long time. Like that isn't news to them. The weeping over Robin, that might be news. But like Christine said, she knew that second. Definitely we got to push Sabin more. Don't you want to know? Like, I really would love to get, and maybe you just can't. Maybe Robin is not open at all, but you'd love to crack that nut, because she really does come off as trying to loop herself in with Mary and Janelle and Christine. On camera, she really tries to say, Cody treats me exactly like he treats them. I didn't know he was weeping. I didn't know he was that in love with me. He was like, she totally plays surprised. So is she at all like, is she telling the truth or is she playing the victim? Most of you guys think she plays the victim. I always think life is very nuanced. People act certain ways at different times. They have different revelations about one another. Maybe Cody loves a victim. Maybe that's like how Robin feels fulfilled. I don't know. Robin came from an abusive relationship with her first husband, was playing the victim, like her safety in that. I mean, there's like lots of to unpack, which to your point, to all of y'all's point, like that's what you want to get to that's where Andy Cohen was hosting this. He would have ate. I mean, he would have. That's what's so amazing about Andy. And, it's time for like more because lots of times in these shows, if you notice with Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live or The Reunion, the tough questions, they always go, oh, Sarah from Los Angeles wants to know, Robin, are you really sobbing? Like, I'm sure some of the questions are real. Some of them are made by production and they just go, oh, Luann from Palm Springs was, so then it doesn't make the host look like an asshole. It makes Luann from Imaginary Land look like an asshole. They got to start interacting with those questions. We got to get it. And we got to get them back in the room together. Which they do end up filming in season 19, spoiler alert, because there is Gwen's wedding that they all go to. So they are all in the room interacting. But anyhow, so that's part 1 of the one-on-one. Next week is part 2. I believe we do get a part 3. So we are going to get more Sister Wives over the next couple of weeks. Tons of engagement online on my TikTok at The Sarah Fraser Show. On my Instagram is popping off as well as a discussion place. And we have a Reddit. You want to start a topic on my Reddit, if you want to find out more of podcasts that I've done around Sister Wives and other topics, reddit.com/r/The Sarah Fraser Show, everywhere you can find it. And lastly, today, I also have an exclusive interview. If you watch TLC's The Family Chantel Everett, she's one of my dream interviews. She and anybody from Sister Wives is on the show today. And Chantel reveals, did she go on a date with Drake? What about Waka Flocka Flame? Are she and Waka Flocka, the rapper, seeing each other? And basically what she thinks about all the famous men that have slid in her DMs. She gets into that. Are they going to stay on television? And she says she has hardcore proof that Pedro cheated on her, which she reveals on the show today. So you do not want to miss that podcast episode that is up right now. All right. Bye, everybody.